Have you ever wondered how bees, such small creatures, manage to organize complex tasks and build sophisticated hives? This impeccable organization is due to a secret language, a complex communication system that ensures the survival of the hive. Discover now the fascinating language of bees and how it impacts life on Earth. If you want to better understand the world around you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. The incessant buzzing of a hive may seem like chaos, but in reality, it is a symphony of information, a complex code that guides bees in their vital functions. The dance of the bees, an intriguing ballet that combines movements and patterns, is the key to unlocking this communication system. Imagine an explorer bee tasked with finding new food sources. After finding a flowery and abundant field, she returns to the hive with the mission of sharing the discovery with her companions. But how to transmit information about the exact location, distance, and quality of the nectar using only body movements? The answer lies in a precise choreography. The explorer bee performs a figure-8 dance with a straight segment that indicates the direction of the food in relation to the sun. The duration of this segment reveals the distance to the source. The longer the time spent in the straight line, the further away the food. The intensity of the dance, with more vigorous movements, indicates the quality of the nectar, the richness, and the quantity of resources. This dance, first observed by Austrian Karl von Frisch, one of the pioneers of ethology, revolutionized the understanding of animal communication. Frisch's work, which earned him the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1973, opened doors to the discovery of other complex forms of communication among animals. But the language of bees goes beyond dance. Smell, one of the most important senses for bees, also plays a fundamental role in communication. The odor of the collected nectar, for example, serves as a guide for other bees, signaling the location of the most productive flowers. The ability to identify different odors is crucial for the survival of the hive. The apparent simplicity of a hive hides an organized and efficient society where each bee has a vital role. This impeccable organization is possible thanks to a complex and fascinating communication system known as the language of bees. The language of bees, a ballet of movements and odors, is a sophisticated communication system that allows them to transmit crucial information for the survival of the hive. Through dances, odors, and even touch, bees communicate about the location of food sources, the presence of dangers, the need for new queens, and the internal organization of the hive. This complex and efficient communication ensures the smooth functioning of the hive, ensuring the survival of the entire community. The dance of the bees, one of the most fascinating methods of communication, is a spectacle of precise movements that reveal the location and quality of a food source. The explorer bee, after finding a food source, returns to the hive and performs a dance that, to humans, may seem random, but for other bees, is a clear message. The dance, which can be circular or figure-8 shaped, indicates the direction and distance of the food source in relation to the hive. The direction is indicated by the angle of the dance in relation to the sun. If the bee dances perpendicularly to the sun, the food source is in the direction of the sun. If the dance is done at an angle of 30 degrees in relation to the sun, the food source is 30 degrees to the right of the sun. The distance is indicated by the duration of the dance. The longer the dance, the further away the food source. The quality of the food source is transmitted by the intensity of the dance. The more vigorous the dance, the richer and more abundant the food source. In addition, the explorer bee, after the dance, releases a specific odor that indicates the type of flower or food source found. This combination of information, transmitted through dance and odor, allows other bees to find the food source with precision and efficiency. Communication through odors, known as pheromones, is another crucial element in the language of bees. Pheromones are substances. The location of food sources, the presence of danger, and the need for new queens are crucial information for the survival of a hive. The dance of the bees, discovered by scientist Karl von Frisch, is an impressive example of complex communication that allows the efficient transmission of this vital information among the members of the hive. Upon returning to the hive, the explorer bee performs a figure-8 dance with precise and repetitive movements that reveal the direction and distance of the food source. This dance, known as the figure-8 dance, is a true ballet of information. The bee begins the dance with a straight flight, called a run, in the direction of the food source. Then, the bee makes a semicircle to the right or left, returning to the starting line and making another semicircle in the opposite direction. The intensity of the bees buzzing during the dance, which is audible to other members of the hive, also carries important information. The louder the buzzing, the richer and more abundant the food source. The duration of the dance is also an indicator of the quality of the food source. A longer dance indicates a high-quality food source, while a shorter dance suggests a lower-quality food source. Olfactory communication also plays a fundamental role in the life of bees. Bees have a highly developed olfactory system, capable of detecting and identifying a variety of odors. Through olfactory communication, bees can communicate about the presence of dangers, such as predators or pesticides, alerting the hive to take precautionary measures. Pheromones, chemical substances produced by bees, are an essential component of olfactory communication. Bees use pheromones to attract mates for mating, to mark the territory of the hive, to indicate the location of food sources, and to alert the hive about threats. The queen of the hive, responsible for laying eggs and controlling the social organization of the hive, also communicates with other bees through pheromones. The queen's pheromones, known as royal pheromones, regu, is another crucial tool for bees. Through pheromones, chemical substances released by special glands, bees communicate about the presence of danger, the need for new queens, and even to identify members of their own hive. Pheromones can indicate the location of a food source, warn about the presence of a predator, or even control the behavior of other bees. Communication by touch also plays an important role in social relations within the hive. Through physical contact, bees can transmit information about the quality of food, the location of sources of nectar and pollen, and even the presence of enemies. This type of communication is fundamental for the organization and functioning of the hive, allowing bees to work together to ensure the survival of the colony. Bees, as complex social beings, have developed a sophisticated communication system that allows them to interact efficiently and in a coordinated manner. The dance of the bees, discovered by the Austrian scientist Karl von Frisch in the 20th century, is a remarkable example of this complexity. This dance, performed by explorer bees who have found food sources, is an elaborate language that transmits precise information about the distance, direction, and quality of the food. The explorer bee, upon returning to the hive, performs a figure-8 dance with a straight segment that indicates the direction of the food source in relation to the sun. The angle of the straight segment in relation to the vertical indicates the direction of the food source in relation to the sun. The time it takes the bee to travel the straight segment of the dance corresponds to the distance of the food source. The intensity and duration of the dance also indicate the quality of the food found. If the food source is rich in nectar and pollen, the bee performs a more vigorous and lasting dance. If the food source is of low quality, the dance is slower and less intense. Other bees, observing the explorer's dance, are able to decode the transmitted information and fly towards the indicated food source. This dance is an impressive demonstration of the communication and organization capabilities of bees, allowing the colony to benefit from the information social ties of the hive. Bees touch each other with their antennae to recognize each other, to transmit information about the location of food, or to calm other bees in stressful situations. This dance, as it is known, is a spectacle of precision and complexity. Bees, when touching each other with their antennae, transmit chemical information that allows individual identification and the communication of various messages. The dance of the bees, for example, is a complex form of communication that involves specific movements and vibration patterns. The bee that found food performs a figure-8 dance, with the direction of the straight part of the dance indicating the direction of the food in relation to the sun. The distance to the food is communicated through the duration of the dance. The language of bees is a complex and fascinating system that demonstrates the intelligence and communication ability of these creatures. It is a complex language based on a combination of visual, olfactory, and tactile signals that allows bees to communicate efficiently about a variety of subjects, from the location of food sources to the identification of predators and the organization of tasks within the hive. Scientific studies demonstrate that bees can recognize and remember human faces, differentiate numbers, and perform simple calculations. They're also able to develop complex strategies to find the best path to food sources and to defend the hive from invaders. Bees are social creatures that live in highly organized hives. This social organization is essential for the survival of the hive, as it allows bees to share tasks and resources efficiently. Each bee has a specific role in the hive, which is defined by its age and capabilities. Worker bees, for example, are responsible for tasks such as collecting pollen and nectar, building and maintaining honeycombs, and defending the hive. Drone bees, on the other hand, are responsible for reproduction. The queen, the only fertile female in the hive, is responsible for laying eggs and ensuring the reproduction of the hive. The organization and efficiency of the hive are inspiring examples of how communication can ensure the survival of a community. Communication is one of the pillars that support the complex social structure of the hive, being essential for its survival and prosperity. This intricate network of interactions, which permeates all aspects of hive life, is crucial for the efficient organization of tasks, the search for resources, and protection against external threats. The communication ability of bees, based on a sophisticated system of signals and codes, allows them to share vital information, coordinate actions, and ensure the harmony of the social system of the hive. Scientific studies, conducted by renowned researchers, unravel the complex mechanisms that govern bee communication, revealing its vital importance for the success of the hive. Research conducted at the University of Oxford, for example, has convincingly demonstrated that the communication ability of bees is a crucial factor for locating new food sources, essential for the survival of the hive. The explorer bees, entrusted with the arduous task of finding new sources of nectar and pollen, use a complex language to guide their companions back to the hive, transmitting precise information about the location, quality, and quantity of the resources found. These explorer bees, true sentinels of the hive, use an elaborate dance, known as the bee dance, to communicate the location of food sources to their companions. The bee dance, a complex and sophisticated form of communication, involves a series of precise movements, with specific duration and intensity, that transmit information about the distance, direction, and quality of the food source. The angle in relation to the sun, the duration of the dance, and the number of turns performed are key elements in this communication system, allowing the receiving bees to decode the information and go directly to the indicated food source. Olfactory communication, through pheromones, also plays a fundamental role in the organization and survival of the hive. Pheromones, chemical substances released by bees, act as chemical signals that transmit specific information between members of the hive, regulating a series of social behaviors. These chemical signals, like a language bees, tiny and tireless creatures, organize themselves into complex hives, where community life is essential for the survival of the species. The dance of the bees, a ballet of precise and coded movements, represents a highly efficient communication system that allows the coordination of tasks within the hive. This dance, an inspiring example of how communication can ensure the survival of a community, reveals the complexity of the natural world and the adaptability of seemingly simple beings. Worker bees, responsible for collecting nectar and pollen, perform the dance to indicate the location and quality of food sources. The direction of the dance, in relation to the sun, indicates the angle at which the food source is located in relation to the hive. The distance to the source is communicated through the duration of the dance. The longer the dance, the further away the food source. The quality of the source is transmitted by the intensity and duration of the dance. The more intense and prolonged the dance, the richer in nectar and pollen the source. The dance of the bees, a visual language of precise and coded movements, is a fascinating example of how communication can be efficient and complex. The dance, a ballet of synchronized movements laden with meaning, allows for the coordination of tasks and the organization of the hive, ensuring the survival of the community. To help conserve bees and protect the planet's biodiversity, We can adopt simple and effective practices that contribute to the preservation of these essential pollinators. By planting native flowers, we offer bees a diverse and essential food source for their survival. Native flowers, adapted to the local climate and resources, provide bees with the pollen and nectar they need to feed and keep the hive functioning. Creating gardens and balconies with native flowers is a simple and effective way to attract bees and contribute to their conservation. Planting flowers like daisies, sunflowers, lavender, basil, and other native species offers a favorable environment for pollination and the development of hives. Did you enjoy learning about the secret language of bees? Share this video with your friends, and if you liked the content, subscribe to the channel to learn more about the incredible world of nature. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos and continue exploring the biodiversity of our planet. And to continue the journey, be sure to watch the video I've prepared especially for you, which is available on the end screen.